We continue on the topic of Bill talked more about this one-on-one part of pitching. So now we talk much more about this one-to-many, which many call marketing. So we have here Shira Abel. She's a super connector, works with many accelerators, startups, SaaS companies, everybody in the Silicon Valley, across the US, and so on. So the floor is yours. So how should a Estonian or European company go and sell their stuff actually across the world, not just in the US?
All right. Let's see if there's actually, yeah, oh, wait, and good. Back, there. Hi. I like speaking with an audience instead of at an audience, so I'm going to be watching you, and if you have any questions, I actually want you to raise your hand, okay? And I'm used to this, so I will be watching the whole audience to see if there's any questions. So we're going to be talking about PR. Y'all know what PR is? I want to see nodding heads. Yes, you know. No, you don't. Yes, generally you all know what PR is. A bunch of blank faces, some nods. Okay. So PR, I have friends in this region, and I hear all the time, we're out here. How are we going to get attention in the US? How are we going to get PR in the US from out here? All right, I had a phone call, a panicked phone call from a friend from Hungary, and they're like, well, we're doing this launch, and you know, we're in Budapest. How are we going to get PR in the US? I'm like, okay, you do realize journalists are actually paid to cover interesting news. It's their job. So if you have something that's interesting, they're going to cover you. The question is, how do you find them, and how do you make sure that you've got something interesting? So why do you do PR? Well, there's a bunch of different reasons why you do PR. You're not necessarily doing PR in order to build sales. Sometimes you're doing PR for different reasons. And why do you need it? Well, do you have a product to sell? If you have a product to sell, the odds are you need PR. Because why? You need awareness. People need to know that your product exists. When they know your product exists, they're more likely to buy. Now about me, okay, hi, I'm Shira. I've been doing marketing in tech for about 20 years. I'm aging myself, but there you go. And I was a founding mentor at Microsoft Ventures Accelerator, at Google Campus in Tel Aviv. I've taught marketing for startups at Tel Aviv Yaffa Academic College, and now I'm a mentor at 500, and I am an advisor to the accelerator at United Arab Emirates University. I also have an MBA from Kellogg. So, what is the purpose of PR? Bunch of different reasons. Let's say you've got a really, really incredible B2D, that's business to developer startup. But you can't pull in the talent because nobody knows you exist. You've already got sales. You don't need those. You know how to reach out to your community, you understand developers. But you need human capital now. You need the people working in your company. How do you find them? You reach out through PR. But it's local, hyper-local, in the areas that your offices are. It's a different purpose, but still just as important. What about if you're looking to raise money? Well, you know what? Getting in TechCrunch makes it a lot easier to raise that money. Makes you a lot sexier to investors. You've launched a product, it's a B2C. You want to create wide awareness. Think about how we buy, okay? We don't buy something the very second we hear of it. You have that awareness. Okay, I know it exists. Now, that's it. You hear of it. And then you wait. And then you hear of it again. And then maybe you see an ad. Or you hear about it from your friends. And then from there, your trust level builds up. And it takes, depending on the person and the place, between 10 and 100 to 1,000 times to hear something before you get to a minimum trust level. Will you even consider purchasing that product? Well, for that to happen, you need to get your name out quickly and to a really wide audience, and PR does that. That's the purpose of PR. It also can help for apps and sales, getting reviewed, recommended, these things always help if you've got an app. And it can also signal something to your competitors. They go in one direction, you go in another. You ever wonder why there's always some kind of announcement from Google right before there's an Apple event, okay, signaling to your competitors? So there's different reasons why you end up doing PR. And you have to think to yourself, okay, my company needs this. Is this something that's going to work for us? And it doesn't necessarily work for everyone, but most of the time it does. Now, what PR is not going to do is be this magic bullet to get you 1 million downloads or 1 million sales. Typically what happens is this. You get featured in TechCrunch or some other place, Forbes, whatever, and you get this amazing spike in traffic, and everybody in the office is completely excited. Oh my God, look at the numbers! And then they all leave. Boom, flat, nothing happens, crash and burn, okay? But all of those people are aware, and so they may not come back now. They may come back in 6 months. They may come back in 3 months, but they'll come back. That's the purpose of PR. Now, what is PR? PR is earned media and press. So it's blog posts that you write and submit to places. It's when you pitch to a publicist. It's when you pitch to a journalist. It's all of these different things, okay? It's getting mentioned. And sometimes you could get mentioned and it blows up in a way you never expected it to. An example for this would be Yo, an Israeli company. They got mentioned, and it blew up. They were everywhere, because it really was just the stupidest app on the planet at the time that they launched. All it did was say Yo, all right? And it was really annoying. And they got, but literally, they got everywhere. And this couldn't have been a worse thing for them. You may think, oh my God, that's amazing, but it's not, because that's what everybody remembers them for. And their product has changed and is better now. And now you have to get all of those people to remember you in a different way and to come back. And it's a lot harder for somebody to come back when they've had a bad first experience, or they think it's stupid. So you also have to be very careful about how much PR you get, and you don't get to control that. It just happens. And another way is to get outreach to evangelists and all of these things. This deck, by the way, will be on SlideShare afterwards, so you don't have to read it. You can pay attention to me. Now, why do you do PR? Again, as I said earlier, large numbers all at once. That's a big deal. And it gives you that spike of traffic, which is great. But all it does basically is build awareness. And that awareness may lead to sales if it's the right PR. If you have a vertical space, you look for the verticals. And okay, now we're going to go into the actual tactics. Actually, no. We'll go into first this. Now, you've got the holy trinity of online marketing. You've got a 14 to 17% trust rate from ads, which makes sense. You're not going to trust an ad, right? I mean, you're going to see it and like, Facebook is pretty good about figuring out exactly what I like, but I still don't know this company, so I'm just going to stay away from it. And then you've got word of mouth, relationship marketing. That's got about 70% trust rate. And that also makes sense. These are your friends. Your friends say that they like something. You're more likely to believe your friend. Why are they lying? Okay. And then earned media's got about a 40% trust rate. So when you read an article in TechCrunch or Forbes or wherever, you're more likely to trust it than you would an ad, but not as much as, say, one of your friends. So the point, what's your strategy? Strategy is what you say no to. You cannot do everything all the time. You have to think to yourself, this is what I'm looking for. Focus, 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 strategy. And you have to be smart about it. So specific, measurable, all of this will be up on SlideShare. There's no reason to take that picture. And yes, I do see you in the back. Okay, your goal determines your strategy. So where do you want to be? If you have a highly technical product and there are verticals in that area, you want to be in those vertical publications. Does this make sense? Nodding heads? No. Blank stares. Why? Okay, you are getting it. Good. All right. So, and if your goal is to raise funding and you've got a mommy product, it's great to get the announcements on a mommy blogger blog. But that's not going to help you raise funding. That's when you want to be on TechCrunch, even though your target market isn't there, okay? These are the different reasons. TechCrunch probably won't get you anything unless you're going for funding, unless your market is a completely tech audience. So you have to think about that. Now, how to do it. Where are the journalists, analysts, and influencers? You can find them on Twitter, almost all of them. And on Twitter, they often even tell you how they want to be contacted. So you have to start building your list. And the question is, where are your competitors being covered? So you can do a check on Google and on SimilarWeb to see different things about your competitors, and that's further in the deck, and I'm going to go forward and take you there. No, back. Nope, forward. No, there we go. All right, so Google Alerts. Who's covering your competitors? You write down the name of every journalist that's covering your competitors and reach out to them just for an awareness email, okay? These are hard tactics. And what are the keywords that they're covering? These keywords will tell you what type of things are trending in your market and what things you need to be mentioning. And again, slide share, no need to take that picture. What is your competition focusing on? That'll give you signals as to where the market is going. So you want to watch that. You want to watch this stuff all the time. You want to be watching what your competitors are doing. That'll end up giving you signals as to where everything is going in the long run. Back. So the other thing you need to do is you need to start to get to know all of these people. You're building your product. You know who are the people covering your area. Get to know them on Twitter. Reach out to them. And don't sell them anything. Don't start pitching. Nobody likes somebody who starts, it's like, you know, it's like not even, you just don't do it. I was about to say something vulgar, and I stopped myself. You're all saved. But, you know, you reach out to them, you get to know them. If they ask for anything on Twitter, you find a way to get it to them. And then about 2 weeks before you're going to launch, you let them know, hey, I've got this product. Would you like to check it out and tell me what you think of it? If they're already covering your area, they're going to say yes, all right, because it's going to be something interesting for them. If they're not covering your area, you shouldn't be following them and reaching out to them anyhow. Here's another tip. Find the lowest one on the totem pole. Don't go after Mike Butcher. The man has no time. Find the last person hired and go after them. They're the ones who are hungry for the content. Now, I've heard about people getting wins from mass emails. I've heard of one, okay? I've heard of a lot of more losses. No journalist likes to get a mass-published email. You want it to be personal. You want them to know that you care about their publication, that you know that they actually cover you, and that you're something of interest. A sample email from Ben Lang, okay? He had already done something that she knew. He already knew her, and just really tiny, simple email. Keep it short, keep it direct. Journalists don't like to read long emails. You don't have to write a press release. What you may want to do is a couple bullets that highlight why your product is better than everyone else's. 3, not 50. No long email. It will get in the delete file and trash immediately. They don't like it. Don't do it. Keep it simple, keep it direct, keep it short. Already covered that. Content media, guest blogging. You know of a vertical that's similar to yours or in a complementary space, they've got a blog, the blog has a lot of traffic, reach out. Hey, can I do a guest post? Great coverage. Make sure that your guest post is not about your company. Here's another thing, nobody gives a shit about you. You write helpful content that's good for them and is about them, and at the bottom you get a bio, and that's enough. Because they're going to read your bio, and then they're going to go check out your site. Okay? Don't make it about you. Nobody wants to be sold to. They want to find out how you're going to help them. And when you can help them, they'll listen. And then they'll say, hey, I need something like that. So, webinars, presentations, all of this, infographic, whatever. Again, people are busy. So when you write to them, keep it short. Don't waste their time. Treat journalists with respect, or else they'll blackball you, and you'll never get anything from them ever, and they have very long memories. You want to pull on people's emotions. So here's a list. Again, this will be on SlideShare. No need to take that picture. And, pull a different emotion in. There's all these different emotions for different things. Fear of missing out is one. Belonging is another. Us versus them, okay? Oh, are you an Apple person? No, I just can't do Apple. I'm an open system person. So these things exist, okay? And you pull on whatever is you know. You know that M.G. Siegler, who used to write for TechCrunch, is an Apple fanboy. You know that others are going to totally go for Android. Play to what you know they're interested in and write to them accordingly, okay? And international markets. If you're writing to someone in the UK, do not use American spelling. Simple things, but subtle, and they matter. And if you don't already know about Boomerang for Gmail, how many of you know about Boomerang? A couple people, but not everyone, so this might be helpful. It returns the email back to your inbox. So you wrote to them, and they didn't cover you. And maybe they didn't write back. In a couple of days, you write again, really short. Hey, I just wanted to check up. I know you're really busy. Wanted to see if you saw this email. And that's it. And you just basically keep doing that really nicely, really politely, low-key, short. And that will give them more of a reason, as long as you're really nice and polite, in order to cover them. And the other thing is, do you know Sidekick by HubSpot? No. Okay. So when you install Sidekick, you get to see if they opened your email. So you could track who opened your email, when it was opened, how many times it was opened, and then that could tell you if they're actually interested in it or not. So if they never opened it, you write back sooner. If they opened it several times, you could write back and maybe even try and contact them in a couple different places. Any questions? That was just the camera guy scratching his head. I'm like, wait, no, okay. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.